Hello, I'm Amanda Bardonner, the president of our Student Association. As the semester quickly comes to an end, there are many things happening around campus that will affect us as students. Within the next few weeks, our student body will have the opportunity to elect our new student leadership. There are 2 presidential and vice presidential candidates who will be campaigning within the next 2 weeks, letting you know why they should represent us. I encourage everyone to vote for the candidate you think will best represent our Student Association for the next academic year. Elections will be held online from April 11th to the 13th, and you will receive a link in your HuskyNet email to vote. You will also have a chance to vote on the newly recommended changes to the campus tobacco policy. A smoking policy review task force was set up last spring to review the current policy and make any recommendations the committee had. The task force gathered information from the campus community and provided opportunities for feedback on the recommendation. We would like to get your official opinion, either in favor or opposition of the recommendations during the spring elections as a way to gather the official opinion of our student body. As many of you are probably aware, an announcement has been linked prior to spring break about the transition away from homecoming. Thank you to everyone who has voiced their frustration with this decision. I've heard you loud and clear and know that this was a decision that was not made by the student government or the university programming board. We were informed of the decision and are working together to make sure that your concerns are heard. We're working with the administration to host a student forum to provide everyone the opportunity to voice their concerns and offer suggestions on how to increase Husky pride. Once the forum has been set, information will be sent out to all students. This is a difficult time both at a state and national level for higher education. President Obama has proposed cuts to the summer Pell Grant program that would cut the Pell Grant at SCSU of about $1 million. There are also proposed cuts to the SCSU work study of $3 million on a state and federal level. On a state level, both the Minnesota House and Senate are currently debating legislation that would show a cut to Minnesota higher education of 15% to 16%. These cuts would equate to the $13.9 million the university has been planning around, plus an additional cut of $800,000 to $3 million depending upon the final decision. The proposed cuts could result in fewer course offerings, increased class sizes, and it would take us longer to graduate. I assure you, though, that through the reorganization, the university administration, employees, staff, and our student representatives are working to maintain services and course offerings for our student body. However, the reality is that as the state continues to cut funding, the university needs to either decrease expenses or increase revenues. We have seen decreases in expenses through the reorganization process. Tuition increases are the most noticeable increase in revenue. Tuition has increased 100% in the last decade, and we cannot afford to see increases of this magnitude in the future. It is a sad state of affairs when the norm is that students take on loads of debt in hopes of a better future. As of 2008, 70% of students at SCSU were in debt, and the average debt load was $24,485. These numbers have only increased as more of our students continue to apply for financial aid. This is a huge risk. I share this information with you to hopefully get you fired up and eager to do something about it. Our voices as students have the most power when it comes to discussing cuts to higher education. How many of you have had to take out more loans this year than previous years? How many of you are sick of paying the equivalent of your rent, or maybe even more of that, for books? The statistics show that about 90% of our student body works at least a part-time job. These are the facts our student government shares with our legislators, but we need your help. If you are interested in writing a letter to your representative or would like to travel with us to the Capitol, please visit the Student Government Office in Atwood 138 or email me at the email below, sga-pres@stcodestate.edu. We need to represent a unified front to limit the funding cuts as much as possible. Remember to vote in the spring elections, April 11th to the 13th. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, please email or stop by our office. Thank you for listening, and go Huskies.